Hey guys, what's up? I'm Joe, and this is a Bradford Fence. Alright, so we're here today in Conway on location at a job that we just finished up recently. This is the ultimate wood fence you can go with. This is a cedar privacy fence with cedar cap and trim and all metal post and also with screws. So it is set up for longevity and strength. Today we're going to show you why they chose to go with those options, and we're also going to compare it to a fence with the same specifications that we finished about a year and a half ago. All right, so jumping into what they selected and why. First off, they went with a Western red cedar. So these pickets and the cap and the trim are all a Western red cedar. Now, considering the cedar, there are different variations. There are Eastern cedar and Western cedar. Western cedar is going to be coming out of Canada and typically going to be of the highest quality. It's also going to come with a higher price tag. Now, there are some Eastern cedar that can be decent quality, but you really got to watch because some of them can be a really, really poor quality. So you want to watch that when you're considering what type of cedar and making sure that you're not just being sold blanket cedar without any specification of either Western or Eastern cedar. So the cedar pickets, as we've talked in some past videos, they are less likely to warp. They don't shrink as much. Same thing with the cap and the trims. They're going to be more dimensionally stable and stay straighter and truer over time. Then beyond that, now on this back side, actually you can see over here, we do have some treated framework. So our rails are still treated pine. That is just due to them being a little bit denser and stronger for spanning the support of the fence. Now the pine does have more risk of bowing and warping, but when it's coupled with the metal post and the cedar, that is minimized a lot than just an all pine fence. So we've got framework that's pine, then we've got our metal post here behind this ticket that's covering it. So those metal posts, they keep this thing solid, strong, straight and true. You're not going to get post warping and going every which way. And then finally, with everything on this fence is put together with screws. So you can see better here, all of these pickets are screwed in, all the trim is screwed in, and the cap is screwed in. All right, so over here in this area, this was an old dilapidated fence that actually got blown over in some of the spring storms that we had, and they wanted to have some additional privacy specifically in this area of the fence. So we went with an 8-foot tall here, but with that they wanted to keep a 6-foot along the back and then tie into the 6-foot at this other corner. So we strategically placed these posts in this corner to carry the 8-foot through this position here where they wanted to have the ultimate privacy, and then we transitioned it and adjusted our framework accordingly to meet up with the 6-foot tall at this corner that then follows down with the rest in the 6-foot fence. So as we talked about, part of this fence had blown over. Another aspect they had going on here is where this new retaining wall is there was a old woody boards and walls that had been built and it was starting to crumble and come down and was contributing to the failure of this fence. So we had to coordinate and help with that. So we actually coordinated with a mason to come in. We removed the old wood and had a mason come in and build this wall. And then they did some drainage and stuff behind the wall because of the water that comes off of this slope here. And then we coordinated that with the suspension shawl along the wall here to make it all tie together and work well together, but make sure that this dirt and wall is strong and stable to support the new fence that's going behind it. So this is the ultimate wood fence, and it does come with an investment, but you may be wondering, how does it hold up and is it gonna last? So let's go check out how this fence that we did in the exact same way has held up over the last year and a half. All right, so first off, just the straightness and trueness. You can see on this new fence how straight it is, how clean the lines are. So let's check out the older one and see how it's held up as far as keeping its line and keeping its straightness. You can see, yeah, I mean, it's still dead on. Those metal posts, they're not moving or warping or bowing. It is keeping everything in line and straight and looking nice. So you can tell on the aging, the color of the cedar, it is going to gradually, like you can still see some of the natural cedar tones, but little by little and gradually it's gonna gray and get this kind of patina color. That is due to the sun and the UV rays. So that is gonna be the natural progression of that. It doesn't necessarily mean anything wrong with it. Now, if you wanted to prevent it, you could put some type of pigment or stain or UV block on there to help prevent the graying. But you can see also on the pickets themselves, you do get a little bit of drying and a little bit of gapping, but not near as much as you would get with the pine. So the shrinkage is less compared to the pine. It is more consistent. Pine, sometimes you can get, larger gaps and littler gaps, and this does stay more consistent with the cedar. Then with the screws, you can also see it's got an ultimate hold. Those screws are way less likely to back out or break, so you don't have pickets that are warped or popped off or pulling away. You've got the cap that's still securely tight on top, the trim that's all in place due to those screws. So the screws are doing really well, holding what's there. Now these screws are a very high quality screw, and they've got a ceramic coating on them. But you can see that through just the waters and weathering that you still, even with a really good coating on that screw, is still getting a little bit of streaking. So that is to be expected. And again, with a stain or a sealant, should be prevented there. But as far as clean lines, structurally sound, and nothing to have to come back and maintain, this fence is holding up really well. All right, so those would be some things to consider if you're wanting a wood fence that's not going to be a hassle year over year and having to spend all kinds of time maintaining and upkeeping. I hope that's helpful. Make sure to like this video. It helps us out a ton, and subscribe to the channel for more fences just like this.